The story begins with high school student named Kim, who has always been the student everyone admired for his perfect grades. On the outside, his success seemed effortless, but beneath it all, Kim's life was full of constant pressure. After school and extra lessons, his father watched over him late into the night, never missing a chance to criticize. One mistake could lead to harsh punishment, while only a correct answer earned a rare, gentle pat or quiet praise. The stress slowly weighed on Kim's mind. Sometimes he thought about trying his mother's medicine, but whenever she asked gently what was wrong, he couldn't bring himself to speak. Every night, a choking sense of suffocation gripped him, and the only comfort Kim found was in his old music player, so he never took off his headphones. For reasons he didn't fully understand, his father eventually transferred him to a different school. When his new homeroom teacher saw Kim's exceptional performance, he laughed in disbelief, but the praise didn't reach Kim's hollow eyes. He moved through the day almost like a robot, drained and disconnected. As the teacher introduced him to the class, a late-arriving student named Yoonki slipped quietly in, earning only a brief, exasperated scolding from the teacher. Once Kim sat down, the homeroom teacher handed out small slips of paper and told the class to write what they wanted to become in the future, giving them until the next day to submit it. That evening, Kim looked at the paper on his desk and calmly wrote down his father's dream for him, to become a doctor, even though it was not what he truly wanted. He did not question it because he already knew his opinion would not matter. The following morning, Kim walked into the classroom and found Choi Hong-il and his group violently beating another student. Since it had nothing to do with him, Kim quietly went to his seat and opened his notebook. In the middle of the chaos, one of Hong-il's followers accidentally knocked Kim's music player to the floor. As Kim picked it up, he saw Hong-il striking the boy again and again, and memories of his father's harsh discipline flashed through his mind. Overwhelmed, Kim suddenly shouted at Hong-il, shocking the entire class. Angered that a transfer student dared to challenge him, Hong-il kicked Kim hard and no one stepped in to help. The fight only stopped when the bell rang for class. After school, Hong-il and his gang cornered Kim and demanded money. When Kim took out his wallet, Hong-il grabbed it and, noticing the cash inside, assumed Kim came from a rich family. To further humiliate him, Hong-il forced Kim to save his number in his own phone. Hong-il ordered Kim to reply to his messages within 10 seconds, warning that even being 1 second late would earn a punch. Later, Hong-il proudly told Sunjun about it, but Sunjun noticed that Kim did not look afraid at all. Kim's face stayed calm and empty. Hong-il convinced himself that Kim must be scared inside and felt satisfied thinking he had power over him. At home, Kim's life remained the same. His father stood beside him while he studied, watching closely. The heavy pressure pushed Kim to hurt himself again before going to sleep. The next morning, on the way to school, his father warned him that if his next test score dropped, he would be moved to the intermediate class at CRM school. While walking, Kim received a message from Hong-il telling him to buy bread for the class. Kim ignored it and turned off his phone. When he arrived at school, Hong-il asked about the bread, and Kim quietly said he had forgotten. Annoyed by Kim's calm expression, Hong-il pulled off his headphones. He noticed Kim's music player and became interested in it, saying it belonged to him now. Kim refused to let it go. He stepped forward and asked for it back, saying it was important to him. Hong-il laughed and called him crazy, but Kim did not step back. Even if he got beaten, he was determined to get his music player back. Seeing Kim's firm expression, Hong-il slowly let go of the headphones and said he would return them. But just as Kim stepped forward, Hong-il loosened his hand on purpose and let the music player fall to the ground. It hit the floor with a sharp sound. Hong-il then stepped on it and stared at Kim with a mocking smile. He even slapped Kim on the head while throwing out harsh words. That was the final straw. Kim swung his fist at him, but his punch hit Yoonki's desk instead, waking him up in shock. Yoonki quickly adjusted his glasses and moved aside to avoid getting dragged in. Hong-il shouted for his friends to shut the classroom door and rushed at Kim, kicking him hard. The classroom turned into chaos. Desks were pushed over, chairs slid across the floor, and the other students could only stand back and watch. In the middle of the fight, Kim suddenly gained the upper hand. He forced Hong-il to the ground and grabbed him by the collar, his hand pressing against Hong-il's neck. Seeing this, Hong-il's friends froze, unsure whether to step in. Yoonki quietly blocked them, signaling that they should not interfere. For a moment, Kim looked like he might lose control, but he forced himself to stop. He let go and quickly picked up his music player to check if it still worked. Hong-il, still unwilling to admit defeat, grabbed a chair and tried to attack again. Kim dodged it and struck back with 2 strong punches. This time, Hong-il could not get up. Kim put his headphones back on, calming his breathing. Then he returned to his seat and continued doing his homework, as if the fight had never happened. After school, Yoon-ki caught up with Kim and praised his fighting skills, warning that Hong-il and his gang would not forget what had happened. On his way to CRM school, Kim kept replaying the moment he defeated Hong-il. A small, fleeting smile appeared on his face, and because he was distracted, he missed his bus stop. By the time he reached cram school, the other students had already started their exam. When Kim returned home, his father immediately noticed he was late and demanded an explanation. Thinking quickly, Kim lied that he had fallen asleep on the bus. His father looked ready to scold him again about the test results, but Kim quietly turned up the TV volume, forcing him to stop and simply tell Kim to go prepare for studying. As soon as Kim entered his room, he was surprised to see his older brother standing there. His brother handed him a music player and told him to listen to it with all his heart. Kim wanted to say many things, but before he could speak, the sound of his father's footsteps outside the door made him realize it was only an illusion, a brief comfort created by his own mind. The next morning, Hong-il and his gang confronted Kim at school again. When he saw them, he tried to apologize first, but Hong-il refused to forgive him. Later during recess, Kim was in the bathroom when Sun-jun suddenly appeared, kicked him, and ordered everyone else to leave. Frightened, the other students quickly ran outside, but Yoon-ki stayed behind to watch. Sun-jun then stood directly in front of Kim, blocking his path. Sun-jun confronted Kim and demanded to know if he had disrespected Hong-il. Calmly, Kim explained that he had already apologized and that Hong-il was the one who started the fight. Before he could finish speaking, Sun-jun, who was trained in martial arts, threw a strong punch straight at Kim's face and injured him. Sun-jun then ordered Kim to kneel down and apologize. The air in the classroom turned heavy with tension until the homeroom teacher suddenly walked in. At first, he thought some students were hiding there to smoke, but when he noticed Kim's injury, his expression changed. He told Yoon-ki to take him to the infirmary right away and then shifted his anger towards Sun-jun. The teacher scolded him harshly for attacking a new transfer student and called him foolish and ill-mannered. He even mocked Sun-jun by saying he must not have had a mother to teach him properly. Hearing this, Sun-jun clenched his fists, barely holding back his anger. Later in class, Yoon-ki stayed beside Kim and gave him advice. He said that if Kim ever fought Sun-jun again, he should avoid trading punches and instead try to grapple, as that would be his only chance to win. But Kim had no desire to fight anyone. He firmly told Yoon-ki to stop talking to him and walked away, determined to stay out of any more trouble. A little later, Kim returned from the bathroom and discovered that his music player was missing. Hong-il called him, insisting that Kim come to a meeting spot to retrieve it. Yoon-ki saw Kim leave and followed him quietly, carrying his bag. When they arrived, Sun-jun confronted Kim and demanded that he fight before he could get his music player back. Kim didn't want to fight, but Sun-jun attacked immediately, leaving him dizzy. Reluctantly, Kim set down his bag and defended himself. At first, he was clearly at a disadvantage, each blow knocking him down. Yet, every time he fell, he quickly got back up, showing a resilience that surprised Sun-jun. With his sharp mind, Kim began analyzing Sun-jun's speed and attack patterns. Using a clever trick, he countered a punch that Sun-jun hadn't expected, landing a hit that threw him off balance. Sun-jun, furious, continued striking wildly, and Kim remembered Yoon-ki's advice. To win, he had to engage fully. Seizing an opportunity, Kim rushed forward, grabbed Sun-jun, and pushed him toward the stairs. The struggle sent both of them tumbling to the ground. Fortunately, Kim emerged unscathed, but Sun-jun appeared to have injured his leg. Kim didn't hesitate. He kicked Sun-jun's legs repeatedly, keeping him down while Sun-jun could only shield his head, unable to recover. Kim stared down at Sun-jun at his feet, fury written across his face as he struck again, cursing him angrily. Hong-il, witnessing Sun-jun's defeat, trembled with fear, his eyes locking on Kim as if he had seen a demon. When Kim signaled for his music player to be returned, Hong-il could do nothing but obey. After leaving the scene, Kim rushed to the bathroom to wash the blood from his body. Meanwhile, Yoon-ki had been watching from nearby, commenting on the fight. Kim suddenly asked why Yoon-ki had helped him. Yoon-ki paused, then said it was probably curiosity. He had recognized from the first time he saw Kim that he was a naturally skilled fighter. At that moment, Kim's phone buzzed with a message from So, reminding him that his extra classes had already started. Panicking, Kim borrowed Yoon-ki's shirt. Understanding the urgency, Yoon-ki offered to wash it afterward and even gave Kim a bottle of foundation to cover the bruises on his face. The next day, Sunjun's group was summoned by their seniors. The news that Sunjun had lost to a so-called nerd embarrassed them deeply. One senior, Lee Hyuk, grabbed Sunjun and scolded him, saying that landing more punches didn't guarantee victory. According to him, all Sunjun had needed was to smash a brick over Kim's head to settle the fight. Lee Hyuk ordered Sunjun's group to find a way to defeat Kim. Feeling the pressure from Lee Hyuk, Sunjun decided to take a dangerous risk. He waited until Kim had left the school and then approached him on his motorbike. Once they were far enough from others, Sunjun struck Kim on the back of the head with a wooden stick. The sudden attack shocked Yoon-ki, who immediately checked Kim's condition. Blood was flowing from Kim's neck, and Yoon-ki wanted to call an ambulance, but Kim stopped him, refusing to let his parents find out. Kim then collapsed, unconscious. While in a daze, memories of his late brother surfaced, recalling how their mother had cried until she had no tears left. When Kim finally came to, Yoon-ki had already brought him to the hospital. Ignoring the IV needle, Kim insisted he had to get to his tutoring center. Yoon-ki tried to stop him, but at that moment Kim's parents arrived. They were stunned to see their injured son. So, anxious and concerned, asked what had happened. Kim didn't know how to explain, so Yoon-ki quickly intervened, claiming that Kim had simply fallen down the stairs, a path where many students had slipped before. So-tae scrutinized Yoon-ki and asked about his grades. Embarrassed, Yoon-ki admitted he wasn't particularly good at studying. Dissatisfied, So-tae gave him a sharp look, but Yoon-ki quickly excused himself and left before things could escalate further. After Yoon-ki left, Kim kept apologizing to his parents, his voice tight with worry. So-tae looked at him steadily and reminded him to be careful, not to hurt himself or fall ill. Nearby, Dabin sat in the hospital hallway as a patient was rushed past, and the sight shook her. Memories of her late son pressed on her chest, making her struggle to breathe. Seeing her distress, Sunjun stepped closer to check on her. Mistaking him for a friend visiting Kim, she spoke without realizing who he was. Sunjun chose not to correct her, quietly relieved when she confirmed Kim was safe, though he had been worrying about whether he had been too harsh earlier. Dabin tried to lead him toward Kim's room, but Sunjun made an excuse to stay back. Only then did she notice the scratch and swelling on his face, urging him to treat it. Her words reminded Sunjun of how anxious his own mother would be if she saw him like this, stirring a mix of guilt and worry. He muttered a quick apology to Dabin before running off. Later at home, Dabin suggested Kim take a day off from school to rest, but he refused, worried about falling behind. Concerned, she called after him, asking gently if he blamed her for what had happened. Dabin approached to speak with Kim, but he shook his head, saying he needed to study, and turned toward his bedroom. The next morning, Sunjun was already waiting in the hallway. Kim walked up to him calmly, signaling that he wouldn't hold a grudge over the earlier dirty tactics. For him, the matter was finished. Sunjun warned Kim to stay quiet from now on and avoid drawing attention, admitting that he still couldn't resolve the situation himself and had already been reprimanded by Lee Hyuk. He assured Lee Hyuk that Kim wouldn't cause any more trouble, but Lee Hyuk refused to accept it. He ordered Sunjun to take him to Kim. Before Sunjun could respond, Hong Il quickly led the way. Seeing the situation escalating, Yoon-ki hurried over to Kim and reminded him that any fight would have to be reported to the homeroom teacher. Lee Hyuk glared at both of them and demanded that they meet him on the rooftop. Once there, he pointed a bamboo sword at Kim and asked why he had tried to play a trick. Kim simply bowed his head and apologized, taking responsibility for everything and asking Lee Hyuk to forgive Yoon-ki. Lee Hyuk was taken aback that Kim would plead on someone else's behalf, but he finally agreed and told Yoon-ki to step aside. However, he made it clear that the matters involving Hong Il and Sunjun were not over, and he would not let those go easily. Kim was about to face a harsh punishment. Lee Hyuk then called over Sunjun, forcing Kim to apologize to him before instructing Sunjun to attack. Those around watched and laughed, delighting in the spectacle. But as time passed and Sunjun hesitated, Lee Hyuk's anger flared. He struck Sunjun's leg with a heavy blow and then swung a bamboo sword at him. The harder Lee Hyuk hit, the more the crowd grew excited, cheering at every strike. Seeing Sun Jun grit his teeth and endure the punishment, Kim could no longer stand by. He stepped forward and grabbed the bamboo sword. Turning to Yoon-ki, he asked how many more troublemakers would come if Lee Hyuk were handled. Yoon-ki answered that there were only 2 more. Confident he could stop the fight by dealing with them, Kim threw the bamboo sword aside. Without it, Lee Hyuk was no longer intimidating, just another student. Kim attacked him directly, forcing Lee Hyuk onto the defensive. During the scuffle, Lee Hyuk grabbed the bamboo sword again, making him far more dangerous. He struck Kim with furious force, knocking him down, and pressed the tip of the bamboo sword to his neck, demanding if he understood what fear truly was. The suffocating tension brought back memories of the nights Kim had hurt himself in frustration and fear. Around him, the crowd cheered for Lee Hyuk, feeding the chaos. Suddenly, Sun Jun stepped forward and kicked Lee Hyuk aside. The unexpected move shocked everyone. The students tried to rush in, but Lee Hyuk shouted for them to back off. It was a fight between him and Kim alone. Kim knew the bamboo sword was Lee Hyuk's advantage, so he focused on disarming him. After taking several blows, Kim finally seized the sword, tossed it aside, and unleashed a rapid series of punches that left Lee Hyuk reeling. The final hit sent him flying, knocking him out. Kim then picked up the bamboo sword and snapped it in 2, putting an end to the fight. Breathing heavily, Kim looked up at the sky as a plane passed overhead. While washing his hands, he asked Yoon-ki for the names of the remaining troublemakers. Yoon-ki quickly replied, Sun-kun and Juno, both seniors in grade 12. On the way back to class, Kim struggled slightly to walk, still feeling the aftermath of the fight. At that moment, a well-dressed student stepped forward to help him. Before Kim could even react, the teacher called out, identifying the student as Sun-kun. When asked why he hadn't gone to the staff room, Sun-kun calmly explained that he wanted to assist a fellow student with an injured leg before heading there. After helping Kim back to class, Sun-kun asked if he had any money, joking that doing a good deed made him thirsty. Kim didn't fully understand, but he handed over some cash anyway. Later, at the tutoring center, Kim had a test. His poor performance on the previous exam had placed him in the intermediate class. As he worked through the questions, his mind kept drifting back to the fight, making it hard to concentrate. When it was time to submit his paper, he scored 94 points, not the top of the class, and the teacher couldn't resist mocking him for it. After the extra class ended, Kim ran into Seung-kun and his group. Recognizing them immediately, he braced himself, expecting a confrontation. But Seung-kun surprised him. He wasn't looking for a fight today, he just wanted to talk. At that moment, Kim's father arrived to pick him up. In the car, he asked about the group, and Kim quickly explained that they had approached him because of the school uniform he was wearing. His father could tell at a glance that they were troublemakers and made it clear that he didn't want Kim associating with them. He reminded Kim that true strength isn't just temporary power, it's lasting power, earned and controlled. Kim's father wanted him to focus on building lasting strength, not just temporary power. On the way home, Kim realized they weren't heading in the usual direction and asked where they were going. His father explained that they were visiting his grandfather's house for the weekend, and in the meantime, he would have a suit made for Kim by a family acquaintance. During their conversation, the tailor asked about Kim's older brother. Surprisingly, Kim's father hid the truth of his eldest son's passing, forcing a smile as he said his son was doing well. The next day at school, Kim noticed Sun-kun and Juno waiting at the classroom door. Sun-kun followed Kim to his seat and calmly said he didn't want to fight. He found Kim interesting and just wanted to play around. One glance from Sun-kun toward the other students outside the classroom was enough to keep them from entering. That was the aura of someone in control, a ruler's presence. But Kim didn't care about intimidation. He saw Sun-kun for what he really was, a bully. Sun-kun laughed at Kim's dismissal. He stood up, took a long sip from his bottle of Coke, and then poured the remainder over Kim's head. Kim tensed, ready to retaliate, but Yoon-ki subtly signaled him to stay calm and not act impulsively. After school, Kim's entire family went to celebrate his grandfather's birthday. Instead of paying attention to Kim's parents, his grandfather led Kim straight to the banquet table. In the Woo family, everyone traditionally became a doctor except So-tae, who had chosen a different path, which greatly displeased Kim's grandfather. Even the idea of transferring Kim to another school upset him. Only when Kim admitted that he genuinely liked the new school did his grandfather stop complaining. When the banquet ended, his grandfather took Kim to his room and poured him a glass of wine. Kim refused, reminding him that he was still a minor, but this only frustrated his grandfather further. Compared to his father, his grandfather was even stricter and more commanding. Reluctantly, Kim took the glass and drank it. Ever since Sotai had started his business career, his grandfather had supported him, and just one word from him could make Sotai halt everything. His grandfather explained to Kim that in life, those who want to succeed must endure hardship. While his father and brother had struggled to cope in difficult moments, Kim would have to learn to bear even more. Only through endurance could one gain true power. He advised Kim to return to his old school and immerse himself in a highly competitive environment to climb higher in life. Moreover, Kim's older brother had also attended that school. Kim glanced at his grandfather and admitted he preferred his current school. Returning to the old school felt like a death sentence to him. His grandfather hadn't expected such honesty and felt that Sotai had spoiled Kim. After leaving his grandfather's room, Kim caught sight of his older brother's reflection by the lake. He walked toward it, lost in thought, until he accidentally fell into the water. Panic erupted, and everyone called out his name. Sotai quickly pulled him to safety. Knowing that his grandfather had given Kim alcohol, Dabin voiced her disapproval, but his grandfather remained unmoved. In his eyes, a son must be raised with strength. He believed Kim's parents were too weak to properly guide their children, a weakness that had contributed to Kim's older brother dying young. Seeing the tense atmosphere, Kim's uncle gently advised his father to step back into the room. The next day, Kim wanted to confront Sung-kun, but Yoon-ki stopped him. He urged Kim to wait until his leg was fully healed, but Kim refused. He no longer wanted to bow to anyone, and the thought of it made him feel ashamed. Determined, Kim went to Sun-kun's classroom and found him casually drinking Coke, ready for whatever came next. Sun-kun told his classmates to leave the classroom and then offered Kim a bottle of Coke. Everyone expected Kim to refuse, but instead he grabbed it and poured the soda over Sun-kun's head. Surprised, Sun-kun tilted his head back to catch the remaining drink and laughed, clearly amused. Kim wanted to settle things right there, while Sun-kun preferred to take the conflict outside. As Sun-kun turned to leave, Kim threw the empty bottle at him, catching him off guard. Before things could escalate further, the teacher appeared and stopped the fight. He warned Sun-kun not to kick classmates out of the room again. Sun-kun reluctantly obeyed and stayed put once the teacher left. The teacher then instructed Kim to come to the club office during lunch. At lunch, Kim and Yoon-ki went to find Sun-kun. Sun-kun calmly worked on a Rubik's Cube, then asked Kim one final time if he wanted to play or if he wanted to risk his life there. Kim refused. He wanted to end this quickly so he could get home and study. Hearing the answer, Sun-kun tossed the Rubik's Cube to his friends and charged at Kim. After a few strikes, Kim managed to knock him down, but Sun-kun was different from the others. He was trained in jiu-jitsu, making him far more dangerous and unpredictable. Even at a disadvantage, Kim had a way to turn things around. Sun-kun spun him around and clamped his hands around Kim's neck. The sudden lack of air brought back memories of the nights he had hurt himself. Sun-kun squeezed until Kim's body went limp, only releasing him when he was sure Kim was completely subdued. Sun-kun's friends stared nervously at Kim lying motionless, worried that their leader might go too far. After handling Kim, Sun-kun turned his attention to Yoon-ki. He was intrigued by Yoon-ki and offered him a spot on his team, promising that the older boys would take care of him. Yoon-ki, though timid, couldn't bear to lose face. He removed his glasses, preparing to fight. At that moment, Kim, on the ground, stirred, trying to regulate his breathing. Seeing this, Sun-kun told Yoon-ki to hold off. Kim came first. With a few swift moves, Sun-kun pinned Kim down again, laughing as he mocked him for not understanding his own strength. But Kim surprised everyone. He reversed the hold, pinned Sun-kun to the floor, and began landing punch after punch. Seeing the tide turn, Jin-so stepped forward to help Sun-kun, but Yoon-ki intervened, stopping him from interfering. Yoon-ki stepped in to handle Jin-so so Kim could focus on Sun-kun. Spotting a moment while Kim was distracted, Sun-kun broke free from his grasp. He told Kim to take a short rest and watch the fight between Jin-so and Yoon-ki. The duel ended quickly, with Yoon-ki emerging as the victor. Sun-kun found the kids increasingly entertaining and signaled to continue the fight. Kim and Sun-kun clashed again, charging at each other with full force. Sun-kun aimed to break Kim's arm, but at the last second, Kim countered with a strong kick, leaving Sun-kun dizzy. Seizing the moment, Kim strangled him the way Sun-kun had done to him earlier. Once Sun-kun passed out, Kim warned the gang not to interfere with his studies ever again. Stepping outside, Kim noticed a plane flying overhead and paused to watch it. Since Kim's older brother had passed away, Dabin had been deeply affected, still carrying the weight of grief, but she had learned to cope, seeking help from a psychologist and finding ways to manage her pain while staying strong for Kim. That night, Kim struggled to focus during his extracurricular class. Noticing he wasn't doing his work, the teacher hit him on the head. Every touch made Kim flinch, and finally, he raised his hand to stop the teacher. Surprised by Kim's defiance, the teacher angrily chased him out of the classroom. So-tae grew angry and scolded Kim. When he heard Kim's explanation, he suspected that Kim was trying to rebel. Raising his hand to strike, So-tae hesitated and stopped. Instead, he said he would call the tutoring center to apologize and instructed Kim to personally apologize to the teacher the next day. Once his father left the room, Kim put on his headphones and returned to bed, hurting himself in silence. This was the only way he could calm down. After a while, Yoon-ki called him out. Kim braced himself, thinking Sun-kun and the others were up to trouble again, but this time it was different. Yoon-ki wanted to show him a video of a bully from Kim's old school, Han-soo, a notorious student who took pleasure in tormenting others. Yoon-ki realized that Kim was naturally suited to fight back, so he suggested forming a team to take down school bullies. Kim refused, saying he just wanted to focus on studying, and stood to leave. At that moment, a male student approached them and thanked Kim. After Kim had confronted Hong-il, the student was no longer bullied. Kim hadn't done it for anyone else, only for himself. Seeing Kim refuse the offered water bottle, the student looked a little confused. Yoon-ki stepped in and took it. That evening, So-tae attended a lavish event with numerous professors from a medical university. He planned to greet the professors first and make a strong impression. The professors had brought their children to the event as well, and Kim's father thought it would be valuable for him to make connections with them. While greeting the guests, Kim unexpectedly ran into a young man named Han-soo. At first glance, Han-soo looked polite and composed, making it hard to imagine he was the same reckless bully from the video. Han-soo was the son of a highly respected professor and had even won a major award for a project supporting disabled students. As So-tae praised Han-soo's achievements, Kim casually brought up the school violence incident. Han-soo's smile quickly vanished, replaced by a tense expression. His father dismissed it as a nasty rumor. Confused by Kim's honesty, So-tae immediately apologized and led Kim outside. When asked why he had mentioned it, Kim explained that it wasn't a rumor. He had seen Han-soo extorting other students firsthand. So-tae scolded Kim sharply, reminding him that the world was divided into two types of people, those who take and those who are taken from. Life, he said, was cruel. He urged Kim to adjust his attitude and apologize to Han-soo, insisting that Kim's duty was to become talented. This time, Kim listened. He didn't want to become a person like Han-soo, and if pushed too hard by his father, he feared he might break like his older brother. When So-tae slapped him, Kim didn't argue further. He quietly turned and left, determined not to lose himself. After leaving, Kim spent a long time thinking. Finally, he decided to go to Yoon-ki's house, determined to make Han-soo pay for his cruel behavior. The next day, Han-soo continued to harass Sang-ho. Unable to endure it any longer, Sang-ho went to the school rooftop that night, contemplating ending it all. Just as he was about to jump, fear gripped him, and he backed away, sitting helplessly with his head in his hands. Han-soo and his group soon found Sang-ho, dragging him down to the schoolyard and using him like a punching bag. Their laughter echoed over his suffering. Then, two figures in red hoodies appeared, Yoon-ki and Kim. When Han-soo's juniors asked who they were, Yoon-ki introduced them as the school's superheroes. Kim charged straight at Han-soo while Yoon-ki handled the underlings. A quick learner, Kim could mimic moves and make them his own. He used boxing techniques he had learned from Sunjun while fighting Han-soo, but Han-soo was formidable, trained in Muay Thai for years. Seeing Kim struggling, Yoon-ki rushed to assist. Understanding his friend's plan, Kim turned and swiftly took down the remaining junior attackers, leaving the battlefield clear. Yoon-ki struggled to keep up against Han-soo as well. After Kim had taken care of the remaining underlings, he told Yoon-ki to take a break. Then Kim charged at Han-soo, landing blows until the bully was dazed, finishing with a powerful spinning kick. Afterward, Yoon-ki handed Kim his phone to record the moment. Yoon-ki called Sang-ho over so that Han-soo could bow and apologize, giving Sang-ho the choice to forgive or not. Yoon-ki even encouraged Sang-ho to fight back, just as Han-soo had treated him. Fueled by anger and encouragement, Sang-ho rushed forward and kicked Han-soo. The first victory brought immense joy to both Yoon-ki and Kim. To celebrate, Yoon-ki bought drinks, and Kim shared a video of Han-soo's reluctant apology. It was astonishing to see the once fearsome bully so humbled. After the celebration, they quickly changed back into their school uniforms. Yoon-ki took responsibility for bringing the clothes home to wash. He had wanted to invite Kim out for a meal, but Kim declined, needing to get to his cram school. Yoon-ki watched Kim leave, disappointed, before heading to the hospital to visit a friend named Hente. He recounted Han-soo's humiliation, but Hente remained silent. It was clear Han-soo had bullied him in the past. The next day, Kim and Yoon-ki sat for their midterm exam. Kim focused intensely, determined to do well, while Yoon-ki approached it casually and ended up falling asleep halfway through. During recess, Lee Hyuk instructed Seung-kun to capture Kim and hand him over, warning that failure would earn Sun-jun no forgiveness. But now that Seung-kun had returned to his boxing practice, he no longer wanted to get involved with the gang. Hong-il, dissatisfied, tried to persuade Seung-kun to comply. Seeing this, Kim immediately stepped in and warned the thugs not to bother Seung-kun anymore. Hong-il wanted to push further, but Kim's sheer presence and strength forced him to back down. Seung-kun looked at Kim thoughtfully. He remembered how Hong-il and his gang had once been ordinary classmates, but after discovering the power of their fists, they had become the cruel people they were now. Seung-kun feared Kim might fall down the same path. That day, a new student named Gandai transferred in and was assigned to Seung-kun's class. Entering the room, Gandai chose a corner seat, but it happened to be Seung-kun's. When Seung-kun returned and saw his seat taken, he angrily demanded Gandai move. Gandai stood, apologized, and handed over a small sum of money without arguing. But before giving it, Gandai requested one thing. He wanted to study in peace and hoped Seung-kun would help him maintain that calm. Seung-kun didn't expect a new student to dare set conditions for him. He demanded that Gandai pay a hefty 100,000 every month or else face a fight. Gandai, seeing Seung-kun ready to strike, leaned back to dodge. He had no intention of fighting, while Seung-kun was determined to hit him no matter what. After dodging several attacks, Gandai finally decided to defend himself. Just then, the teacher appeared again, forcing Seung-kun to reluctantly return to his seat. During the break, Seung-kun grew increasingly frustrated and began scheming a way to make Kim and Gandai clash. Hong-il understood Seung-kun's plan and ran to warn Kim that the new transfer student was trying to take over the school. He had already beaten Seung-kun and might come after Kim next. Hearing this, Kim went to find Gandai. Annoyed by the interruption, Gandai led Kim to a quiet spot to talk. He explained that there had been a misunderstanding. He hadn't transferred to fight anyone, and today's clash with Seung-kun was purely self-defense. But Kim, frustrated and impatient, suddenly rushed at Gandai. Gandai quickly struck a few blows in defense, catching Kim off guard. Yoon-ki, seeing Kim acting recklessly, hurried over to intervene. He warned Kim to stop. Gandai was far stronger, and rushing in would only make things worse. Yoon-ki then apologized to Gandai on Kim's behalf. Yoon-ki explained that Kim had no intention of fighting. He had simply misunderstood Gandai, assuming the new student was allied with the thugs. Gandai turned to Kim, studying him carefully, and asked whether Kim's actions were really any different from those bullies. Kim quickly replied that he was only punishing those who had harmed others. Gandai found Kim intriguing. He wondered who truly decided whether someone was good or bad, and whether Kim was seen as a hero or a criminal in the eyes of others. He realized that those who tried to solve problems with fists rarely ended well. After leaving, Yoon-ki took the opportunity to explain Gandai's background. The school he had attended, called the Experimental School, was nearly like a reformatory for students with violent tendencies. There, teachers encouraged fighting and ranked students by strength. Each day, students battled until the strongest emerged, and the top student would be transferred to a regular school. Gandai's transfer here meant he had been the boss at that school. Yoon-ki advised Kim that instead of provoking Gandai, it would be wiser to find a way to earn his respect or even his support. At that moment, Yoon-ki noticed Sung-kun and his group following Gandai. Grabbing his bag, he ran after them to observe from a distance. Gandai, aware of the tailing group, led them into a dead end and waited deliberately, his gaze fixed on Sung-kun across from him. Kim repeated firmly that he only wanted to live quietly at school, but Sung-kun was determined to fight, his pride refusing to back down. Gandai had no choice. He had to face Sung-kun and Juno. Throughout the battle, Gandai clearly held the upper hand. When both Sung-kun and Juno were defeated, the students following them stepped aside, intimidated by Gandai's strength. Just as Gandai started to leave, Yoon-ki ran after him and called him back. He apologized once again for the earlier rooftop misunderstanding and held up his phone, signaling that he had recorded Gandai's fight. Yoon-ki didn't intend to expose him. He simply wanted to remind Gandai that a favor was owed. At some point, Yoon-ki hoped Gandai might help him in return. That night, Kim returned home and immediately faced his father's scolding. Poor midterm results and repeated lateness to cram school had angered So-tae. Just as So-tae raised his hand to strike, Dabin intervened, pleading with him to stop using violence. She warned that harsh discipline might push Kim toward depression. Meanwhile, under an old bridge, a thug named Dwan was harassing two overweight classmates, demanding money. When they had none, Dwan attacked them. Suddenly, two young men in red masks appeared. Yoon-ki signaled the classmates to step back, but they stayed to record the scene. After a tense struggle, Dwan's group was defeated, but Dwan, refusing to give up, quietly picked up a stick and charged toward Kim. Kim was furious and kept hitting Dwan. Seeing him brought back old, violent memories, and every punch seemed to release the emotions he had kept inside. With each hit, Kim grew more intense and focused. At first, Yoon-ki clapped, thinking Kim was in control, but soon he realized Kim was losing himself in the fight. Yoon-ki rushed forward to stop him, but Kim yanked himself free, grabbed the stick from the ground, and ignored all warnings. His expression was cold as he walked straight toward Dwan. Only when he slammed the stick against the wooden wall behind him did Yoon-ki finally let out a shaky breath. After leaving under the bridge, Kim turned to Yoon-ki and asked if he had ever smoked. Yoon-ki admitted he had tried it in middle school but quit long ago, saying it only hurt his throat. Kim thought about the fight and admitted he felt tempted to try a cigarette. Seeing Kim so worked up, Yoon-ki asked why he had gotten so angry. Kim admitted he had almost gone too far. His actions were close to what the bullies he hated would do. Yoon-ki reminded him that he had been the one to start it in the first place. As they looked at each other, Yoon-ki's phone rang, breaking the tense moment. Hente had woken up in the hospital, and when Yoon-ki heard the news, he hurried to visit him. Seeing Hente recognize him, Yoon-ki couldn't hold back his tears of joy. After leaving the hospital, he thought about the bullies who had tormented Hente. Only the last two still needed to be dealt with. Back at Kim's house, So-tae, who had just returned, told Dabin that someone would clean Kim's brother's room the next day. It seemed that the room distracted Kim, and Dabin was surprised by So-tae's decision. But after everything the family had been through, it was finally time to focus on Kim. Dabin asked So-tae if he knew about the wound Kim always had on his face, or if So-tae only cared about grades. She wondered if Kim had been fighting to relieve stress, just like his older brother had years ago. At that moment, Kim came home. As soon as he stepped in, So-tae asked him to hand over his music player. Dabin signaled for Kim to go to his room, but So-tae called him back. He reminded Kim that the music player had belonged to his older brother and was very precious. So-tae asked Kim to be like his brother. Kim wondered why it mattered so much that he kept the music player. Then he asked his father if he knew why his brother loved it so much. So-tae explained that when his brother wore the headphones, he could escape to a place where his father wasn't there. It was their father who had caused Kim's brother's death. Kim's words shocked his parents into silence. He stared at them, his mind flashing images of his brother strangling him in the past. Before his brother passed away, he had tormented Kim countless times. That night, Kim and Yoon-ki went out to confront the thug Don. Before they acted, Yoon-ki warned Kim not to get as carried away as last time. Kim already seemed more dangerous than ever. When they entered the room, Don was waiting, surrounded by even more men. Yoon-ki sensed danger, but Kim didn't hesitate. The fight soon turned against them. Kim and Yoon-ki were overpowered and captured by Don's group. Don ordered someone to record the scene and began removing their masks. Seeing Yoonki's face, Don immediately recognized him and mocked him, saying he was foolish to seek revenge for Hente without knowing his limits. When Don took off Kim's mask, he didn't know who he was. Kim calmly introduced himself as the school superhero, which made Don and his gang burst out laughing. Kim took advantage of their laughter to strike back. Finally breaking free from the group's grip, he and Yoonki ran toward the window. Yoonki grabbed a chair and smashed it open, and together they climbed out to escape. Don and his gang didn't give up. They chased after them immediately. By chance, Sunjun was driving a delivery truck and saw Kim and Yoonki running for their lives. He quickly turned around to help, allowing Kim and Yoonki to get away safely. Once they were out of danger, Yoonki tried to explain his plan, but Kim already understood. He had heard Don mention revenge and knew exactly what Yoonki intended. Kim then asked Sunjun if he could stay the night. Neither could go home safely, so in the end, they spent the night at the gym. Sunjun advised Kim to avoid fighting from now on and not to follow Yoonki into trouble. He suggested Kim put on his headphones and focus on studying like he used to. Sunjun warned that once the thrill of fighting took hold, it could become addictive, leading him to seek fights on purpose. If Kim truly enjoyed combat, he could train in boxing instead of getting caught up in street fights. While Kim and Sunjun were talking, Kim's phone kept ringing, but he ignored it every time. Finally, he sent a quick text to his father saying he would be spending the night at a friend's place near a billiard club. Meanwhile, Don's gang went to Kisu and showed him the video of the two red-hooded figures. Kisu was immediately intrigued by the man calling himself the school hero. He agreed to deal with them, but only if the reward was higher. Money was no problem for the Hanu family, so the deal was quickly set. The next day, Kisu went to Kim's school. He grabbed a student to ask for directions, but the boy didn't know anything. This annoyed Kisu, and his frustration grew. Sunkin, noticing someone acting boldly in his territory, dragged the boy over to Kisu. Kisu then ordered Sungkun to bring Yoonki to him. Sunkin was shocked to be bossed around, and when he resisted, Kisu immediately taught him a lesson. Despite Sunkin's attempts to fight back, he was no match for Kisu, and in the end, one of his legs was broken. Sunkin's friends panicked and went to call Yoonki. Kim wanted to jump in and fight Kisu immediately, but Yoonki stopped him. This was Yoonki's fight, and he intended to handle it himself. Seeing Kisu standing in front of him, Yoonki couldn't help but think back to the past. Kisu had once forced him and Hente to steal from other students. At that time, Yoonki had handed over his money, claiming he did it, but Hente had refused to lie. That had angered the bullies, yet they let Yoonki go. Hente had wanted to protect Yoonki and had told him to leave safely. Yoonki hadn't gone far before regret set in. He turned back to help Hente, but just a few steps away he heard a commotion. Looking up, he saw Hente being pushed toward the edge of the rooftop. Yoonki had wanted to stop it, but he was frozen. He could only watch Hente fall. Snapping back to the present, Yoonki decided not to hold back anymore. He charged straight at Kisu. Kisu glanced at him with cold contempt, and with a few quick moves, sent Yoonki flying. Then Kisu turned his attention to Kim and asked if he had come to take revenge for Yoonki. Kim didn't care about grudges or past conflicts. He only felt irritated by the thugs and wanted to take them down. Without hesitation, Kim rushed straight at Kisu. At first, Kisu underestimated him, and he quickly felt the sting of Kim's attack. But when Kisu focused and fought seriously, Kim was pushed into a tough position. In the scuffle, Kisu even broke Kim's arm. Kim rolled on the floor, clutching the injury, while Kisu pressed down hard and warned him to be careful about choosing his allies. Picking the wrong friend, he said, could leave Kim crippled. Kisu wasn't done. He grabbed a guitar and lifted Kim's legs high, clearly intending to hurt him even more. Just then, Gande appeared. Seeing Gande, Kisu immediately stopped. Though he was reluctant, he backed off and left, but not before taking Kim's music player and teasing that Kim would have to come get it himself. Gande glanced at Yoonki, signaling that everything was settled this time. Kim lay on the floor, his vision blurred, and his mind drifted to memories of his older brother Sugyeom studying intensely for college exams. The pressure and stress of those days flooded back. Kim had always been under his father's strict supervision. Every time Sugyeom finished studying, he would come to Kim and strangle him. It wasn't until Kim struggled to snatch Sugyeom's headphones that Sugyeom suddenly snapped awake. Seeing Kim writhing on the floor, Sugyeom let out a strange laugh and continued hitting him. When Dabin found out, she didn't stop Sugyeom. Instead, she comforted him. Whenever Sugyeom was stressed, he took it out on Kim. When Sugiyam passed the medical school entrance exam, Kim thought the ordeal was over, but it wasn't. Just a month later, Sugiyam returned home saying he wanted to quit school. Kim's father became furious and scolded him. That night, Sugiyam came to Kim's room again. Kim expected him to vent his anger, but Sugiyam only sat down to talk. After leaving his music player behind, Sugiyam returned to his room and jumped out the window. Kim woke from the dream in a start. By then, he was already hospitalized. Yooni still lied, saying Kim had fallen down the stairs. But this time, Sotae didn't believe him. Seeing Kim, Sotae immediately questioned him and promised he would punish whoever had hurt his son. Kim looked at his father and said that it had been Han-soo. He wanted to see what his father would do to Han-soo. Hearing the name, Sotae grew silent. The next day, he went to school to submit a withdrawal application for Kim. After Kim was discharged from the hospital, Sotae immediately planned to send him to study abroad in America. After school, Yoongi went to visit Hente. Hente was more alert now, but he still couldn't walk on his own. Yoongi nervously asked if Hente was angry at him for leaving. Hente shook his head. He hadn't expected Yoongi to feel guilty. In truth, Kisu and the other bullies had made a bet that Yoongi would return. When they saw him come back, Kisu decided to take care of Yoongi and leave Hente alone. Hente had deliberately provoked them to protect Yoongi, and once he explained everything, Yoongi felt his guilt melt away. That night, Kim still had hallucinations. He saw Sugiyam approaching him. When Sugiyam turned and left, Kim rose and followed him. Meanwhile, Dabin woke up to find Kim missing. She searched the house, her worry growing as she reached the rooftop. There, she saw Kim sitting on the railing. Fear gripped her, remembering Sugiyam's death. She begged Kim to come down, apologizing for not protecting Sugiyam or him. Dabin knew both her children had endured immense stress, and she understood that Sotae's relentless pressure, driven by his desire for recognition, had forced them to bear more than any child should. Dabin's anxiety grew as she spoke, until she could no longer hold herself up. She clutched her chest and sank to the ground, struggling to breathe. At that moment, a hand reached out to help her. Seeing that Kim had left the dangerous spot, Dabin hugged him tightly. Together, they returned to the hospital room, where Sotae was waiting. He announced that Kim would be sent to America. Kim didn't want to leave, but Sotae refused to listen. Dabin quickly pulled Sotae aside, determined to protect her son herself from now on. The next day, Gandai was on his way to school when a group of thugs blocked his path. They were Kisu's men seeking revenge. Gandai tried to take them down quickly, but an even stronger group appeared. During the fight, one of them ambushed Gandai, leaving his head spinning. Another grabbed him and slammed him to the ground with full force, dislocating his shoulder. As the attackers closed in, Gandai searched desperately for an escape. He had barely moved when Kisu appeared and kicked him aside, forcing him back to the ground. At that moment, Kisu's real challenge began. He wanted to face Gandai alone. Knowing Gandai's shoulder was still injured, Kisu targeted it, striking repeatedly. Gandai refused to back down. He noticed Kisu's ankle hadn't fully healed, so he quickly kicked it a few times. Taking advantage of the moment, Gandai landed a few solid punches, making Kisu spit blood. Furious, Kisu lunged forward again, but Gandai grabbed him by the neck. Thinking Kisu had given up, Gandai loosened his grip, but it was a trap. Kisu immediately fought back, slamming Gandai to the ground and raining blows until Gandai could barely move. Kisu warned Gandai not to interfere in others' affairs again. He told his men to finish up and then walked away, leaving the alley behind. When Yoongi heard what happened, he rushed to the hospital to check on Gandai. By then, Gandai was wrapped in bandages, recovering. After Kim was discharged, Dabin rented an apartment for herself and her son. Kim stayed there to heal, while Dabin prepared to return to work. Once his injuries fully healed, they planned to talk about school and the future. From then on, Dabin wanted Kim to relax more and try to smile. She supported whatever he wanted to do. That night, Yoongi came to Kisu to get back Kim's music player. Kisu suddenly looked excited. He led Yoongi to the parking lot and told him to start. Even though Yoongi wasn't as strong, he managed to land several hits on Kisu. After a while, Kisu suddenly lost interest and told Yoongi to take the music player and leave quickly. Meanwhile, Kim was facing his grandfather. His grandfather had brought the police and a psychiatrist to Dabin's apartment, claiming she had mental problems and was rebelling against the family. Kim wanted to explain that his mother was fine, but his grandfather didn't listen. Dabin realized she couldn't confront him directly. She called lawyer Seo and agreed to leave with the doctor. Before leaving, she looked at Kim with determination, promising she would come back for him. Kim could only watch as his mother was taken away. Afterward, his grandfather dragged him home and told him he would be sent to a good school in America. Until then, Kim had to stay at home and behave. At that moment, Kim's phone rang. It was Yoongi calling. Then Kim used the red light as an opportunity to open the car door and run. So Tae tried to chase him, but couldn't keep up and could only watch Kim disappear. Kim arrived at the place Yoongi had arranged to meet. Yoongi returned the music player to Kim and apologized for getting him involved in trouble. He told Kim that he had made a few minor repairs, so the music player was working again. Both knew that Kim had to go to America soon, and this might be their last meeting. After saying goodbye, Kim put on his headphones and listened to the music, remembering his brother Sugi. The next morning, Kim went to Kisu's school and waited at the gate. Seeing Kim, Kisu was clearly surprised. He told Kim to follow him, but Kim refused. He wanted to settle things right there. Kisu noticed Kim's arm was still in a cast and couldn't help looking down on him. The fight began immediately, and Kisu quickly had Kim dizzy. They even spilled out onto the main road during the fight. After some time, Kisu grew tired, and Kim seized the chance to fight back. One of Kim's punches made Kisu furious. Kisu grabbed him and threw him toward a nearby car. Kim's body hit the window, shattering it, and people quickly moved aside. Kisu laughed and told Kim that fighting was the best way to release stress. Kim stepped closer to Kisu and asked if he was enjoying himself. Kisu sneered and said the reason they loved fighting was that they were all worthless. His words reminded Kim of his father, and a cold laugh escaped him. He tried to stand taller, thinking he would never be like Kisu. The two clashed again, exchanging hard punches. Kim slammed his casted arm into Kisu's head, and blood immediately trickled down. He ripped off the remaining plaster on his arm and threw one last finishing punch. Kisu collapsed to the ground. Kisu glanced at Kim's music player and thought of them both as broken, like the machine, damaged beyond repair. Kim ignored him and kept hitting, refusing to listen. Watching Kim's relentless assault, Kisu realized this young man had likely been abused by his family too. He felt pity, but Kim angrily shouted at him to shut up. Suddenly, Kim's mind was filled with hallucinations. Kisu became his brother Sugyam, then transformed into So Tae, and finally into Kim himself. Kim struck furiously, trying to shatter the illusions. Just when it seemed he had lost control, Kim suddenly stopped. Kisu was shocked. He had expected him to keep going. Kim let out a cold laugh, put on his headphones, and walked away from Kisu. Just as he was about to leave for good, Yoongi and So Tae appeared. They urged Kim to stop. Kisu's panic grew. He had never seen Kim like this before. Suddenly, Kim stopped and looked up at the sky. His dream came back to him. He remembered how much he loved the blue sky, and that this would be his first real flight. He glanced toward his father. To everyone's surprise, Kim stomped hard on Kisu's chest before turning away. Sometime later, Kim's mother had found a new school for him, the same special school that Gande had attended. On the day he was leaving, Dabin hugged Kim tightly and told him to take care of himself. She promised to wait for his return. Once Kim got on the bus, he saw Yoongi sitting beside him. Yoongi had also arranged to transfer schools. When the bus reached the school gate, the homeroom teacher called for everyone to get off. Some students were still half asleep, so the teacher didn't hesitate to use force to wake them. Kim and Yoongi looked at the school ahead. Here, students had to fight their way into the top 10 to earn a chance to transfer. They both knew challenges and exciting battles were waiting.